Governor Newsom says he is fed up. There are no more excuses. He says the state has done its part, providing plenty of funding to get encampments cleared up. He wants to see the results now. Governor Newsom made the announcement here in Los Angeles yesterday. He joined Caltrans to clear several encampment sites.
And we had our big body challenge today. 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups to try to get under 5 minutes. How'd you get? We got close. I was about 5:25. You were right behind us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. 0 days without an initial glitch for us.
Yeah, we need that chart up on behind us.
That's right.
Without a workplace accident.
With no workplace accidents for us. TMI tonight. TMI. It just keeps spinning out of control. It's never ending. 2 more people were shot just before we were coming on air in Portland, Oregon by ICE agents. This is our new reality. Shut up and take it.
It's a mess. We're going to see what happens here, but I think these coming the day after a horrific shooting at the same place that George Floyd was shot, and the vigor and anger that they're going after Minnesota, like, that in itself is like they're targeting Tim Walz. They're digging up investigations. They're trying to show that that the 2024 election was fake in Minnesota. And I mean, it's
insanity. And, I was thinking today, like, after almost a century of this project, the Zionist project of Israel, and the lies and the Hasbara that's been forced down everyone's throat, watching like little kids throw rocks at brutes in tanks. And then the brutes in tanks have a right to defend themselves and slaughter these kids. And everybody born a Palestinian is born a terrorist. And, doesn't ICE have a right to defend itself? And do you condemn the protesters? I mean, I feel like there's so many correlations to all of this that the people with absolute impunity are constantly crying fear of retribution from their actions, and then the people who are barely able to speak up and do anything because they've been so oppressed, they're so dominated by these outsized forces, are the ones told, hey, well, that's the law, and that's just the law, lie down and take it. Like, don't protest. This is your president. Don't what does the law mean? Like, slavery was the law. Jim Crow was the law.
And I watched JD Vance earlier today, his whole interview, or, thing from the podium,
we have some clips. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he's out there saying basically, like, if you have a problem with it, be respectful and vote us out in the midterms. Like, no, that's not how you deal with oppressive leadership. You don't wait 3 more years to really get you guys out of office. No. And you will get a violent protester here and there, but you can't target the whole group. Like, the whole group there came for violence somehow.
No, of course not.
Even in their using their excuse, they're saying without any reason whatsoever that she's this domestic terrorist and all you've got is that she was at the event.
I mean, there have been so many competing stories, about her history, about why she was there. Was she a legal observer? Was she just dropping her child off? Whatever it was, she was not a threat to the ICE officers or to anybody else around there. She was getting conflicting instructions, just leave and also get out of the car. And some other people were saying that she was trying to pull over to the side so she could get out of the way of the officers who were saying that she was blocking traffic, right? So, like, they're all different things. And to blame this one individual for 100%. Not being able to respond to the chaos properly, but not the people who were paying with our taxpayer money who killed her.
Right. And what they're doing is they're saying everybody there, like, they're putting on her that she was there to do all these things that maybe some people were there for, but you can't pin anybody at an event with all the actions of the entire group. And that's what they want to do, because then they can say whatever we do to this whole group is justified.
I mean, we're all Hamas, basically. That's just, you know, that's where we are right now. We're all Hamas. And also, you know, this thing, I mean, we have so many clips of the disgusting spin, but going back to like voting our way out of this, not that JD Vance cares, but like, it's a bipartisan effort. It's bipartisan funding. The funding has only continued to go up, from W to Obama to what's his face, first regime Trump, to Biden to second. Like, that's just where it is. So we're not voting our way out of this. And obviously, I mean, JD Vance doesn't give a shit what we're, you know, what the votes say. But like, I honestly just feel like everything echoes to me the eugenics and the impunity of these people who get away with everything for millennia, you know.
Absolutely. And, you know, nothing is more American than protesting your government. I mean, we were formed from Tea Party
revolution.
Fighting, you know? So like, we have a right to be out there yelling at you fuckers. We don't have to sit home quietly and wait 3 years.
Like, voting is our only civil right in this country. That's it, right? Vote, just vote. They would love it if that were the thing. And then, you know, we've got Trump saying maybe he'll just cancel elections as a joke, or not a joke, or who the hell knows. But anyway, it's pretty disheartening. And especially, I know we all are thinking about what Palestinians are going through right now and what they have been going through for, you know, almost 100 years. And that feeling of like, it's so clear who's right and who's wrong, who has the weapons, who has the whole force of the world behind them. And nobody's come to help them. And the lies have been so propagated that otherwise rational people, or who I thought were rational, will repeat them. You know, it's, I don't know, it's really dystopian.
It is. And I mean, my prediction, I'm still sticking to it at this point, but was that they wouldn't really escalate it more in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because there is a limit on how much their own supporters will take, to where both parties kind of have to do something about it at least. But the administration is signaling that no, they want this fight. And I think they might want this fight more than I thought they did. I mean, I know they wanted the fight, but the optics of the brutality, you know,
I mean, it's all really, they have. I think they love it. That's it. They have nothing else. They don't have an economic strategy. They don't have an international peace strategy. He was supposed to be the anti-war president. And also, like, their vision of what the U.S. should be is, I mean, it's very different from some Democrats. Right. My vision of it is different from Democrats also. So, like, I don't even know what our cohesive, unifying vision of this country is. And I really think that, you know, whoever wants to have a hope of fixing things better have a really strong projection of the story we all want to tell ourselves about who we are.
Yeah. And that's the tricky part is, you know, honestly, the worse things get with all of this, the easier it is to win with just stop that stuff from happening anymore.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's the whole point of it, is that both parties know, well, we don't want to change. We don't want to do anything good for people in the economy. So why don't we just flip it to you guys next term? We'll be really brutal, and you guys can just keep our taxes, you know, tax breaks in shape for the corporations and the rich, and we'll be good. Okay. Anyway, I was pointing out my beer. I am Above the Madness is the name of this beer.
Love the Madness?
Soaring Above the Madness.
Oh, Soaring Above the Madness. I like that.
So it's sort of an American, I don't know.
Yeah,
who knows? But it's got alcohol, which is good for you now, according to the
it's a social lubricant. We had some suggestions too that we should be adding that into our intro for the show, for our Thursday Media Inanity. We have so many bits that we should be adding into, but yes, social lubricants. And I think that soaring above the madness is aspirational.
Right.
All right. So let's start with doing some business from the front office. Please do make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell. We so appreciate all of your likes and shares and comments. It really, it does seem to be helping the algorithm. We are slowly chugging along and gaining traction. So we couldn't be doing that without all of you. And we're really, really grateful to all of you. So thank you.
Amen.
All right.
Cheers. Shall we
cheers it up? Let's cheers it up. The ingenuity of people who are in, through no fault of their own, desperate situations. This is Taysir Obaid, an inventor in Palestine who is inventing equipment to use for daily life out of the rubble.
عملنا آلية لتسخين المية وترجع تعطيني للدش أيضا مي سخنة. طبعا الكلام هذا محرومين منه من سنتين. الحمد لله حصلنا على المي الساخنة بطرق بديلة غير مكلفة. الأشياء اللي بعملها لحتى تفيد جيراننا وتفيد أهلنا وتفيد النازحين. رسالتي للعالم يكون في تحرك دولي لحتى توقف القساوة الصامتة اللي بنعاني منها حاليا ومن الدمار. حنطلع حياة، حنزرع ونعمر.
I don't know how long a group of people can keep talking about their perseverance and the need to rebuild, because everything they build keeps being destroyed. But it is truly amazing.
Of cold water. Just think about that in a brutal winter as well. And you've got nothing but cold water. And when they say they're living in tents, they don't have waterproof tents. They have tents
that, if they're lucky, aren't getting bombed. Another refugee camp was just bombed last night in the middle of a so-called ceasefire. Nobody talks about it. It is just so heartbreaking. And, speaking of, arbitrary, cruel laws, it is illegal to collect rainwater if you're Palestinian.
Yeah. They were shooting fishermen. These people are starving and you're just trying to go catch fish. You're not allowed. Imagine the world like that, where you aren't a part of the world. You're banned from it. Like, I would be the most violent of the terrorists.
How can you not be? I know. Of course, which is why, and again, it was such clarity that Norm Finkelstein, Yanis Varoufakis, and a few others really spoke up and out right after October 7th. No, I do not condemn. Absolutely, you do not condemn people who are fighting for their liberation ever. Okay, so cheers to anybody who can still have a smile and be present like that. Is really unbelievable. Cheers.
Amen.
We need some joy.
We got the wheel. I didn't know we have wheels tonight. Yeah.
Sorry. Are we just gonna?
No, it's okay.
I don't know why I'm having such a lag time. So apologies if things are, I don't know, something with
something is funky, because I started the show twice and it said you can't start another show.
And I never start the show, and I'm the one who ended up having to push that button. So I'd like a raise.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're spinning.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. Crowd favorite.
You may recognize the cat involved here, and this This was literally like 10 minutes before the show. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. First of all, that's, very cute. Oh, look, I'm frozen. Darn it.
You're moving now on mine.
Am I? Okay. I'm not on my end, but anyway, that is very cute. I have a question. Did the lid actually fall off when she knocked it over?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So
all right.
I was keeping that on the ground next to her stuff, but then all night I hear her flipping it over on the ground. So I'm like, oh, I'll put it up by the microwave. And then no, she got it. And the thing has teeth marks in it everywhere too, because she's
biting at it.
She's determined to get in there.
And now you film her doing something naughty.
Well, I put it in a cabinet now, so it's probably the last time this is gonna happen.
That's very funny. She's adorable. She's very cute. Even if you're reinforcing the bad habits, just using. She's adorable. Taysir Obaid, Obaid, is the man who was the subject of our cheers. I just saw that. Sorry, my brain, guys. Josie just asked. Obaid. Okay. So let's just dive into the Democratic response to the horror show of the Trump administration.
Resistance to use the appropriations process either for Venezuela or now certainly for ICE. I mean, are you afraid of another government shutdown?
It does seem like you guys are not angling for a fight on ICE.
Why
Is
not?
that fair to say?
Why not use the appropriations process to rein in ICE, Leader Schumer?
Okay, I don't know who the other reporters are. One of them was Manu Raju. And I have to say, I see CNN. I don't know, not normally like a probing reporter, but those are the sorts of questions that all of these people should be asked about everything. Why don't you want people to have health care? Why don't you want people to have a living wage? Why don't you want people to drink clean water? Who's paying you so that you pretend to drink clean water in Flint, Michigan? Who's paying you to say that it's okay that 68,000 people a year are going to die because they don't have free, universal, single-payer health care even before COVID? Like that. Those are the questions. Put them on their back heels.
Are you letting the country fall to shit because it makes it easier for you to run on nothing in 2024, 2026?
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening here.
And they have nothing to say. He just walks on. Jeffries asked, so that's, the
and he
Democratic,
was hammering up with Rubio 2 days ago too.
Which is so disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Rubio.
So disgusting. That is our one big party, Ken Klippenstein, so the day before, the reporter asked, given what's happened in Venezuela, do you regret your vote for confirming Marco Rubio for Secretary of State? Well, I'm deeply disappointed in Marco. And then they're just yucking it up the next day. Nothing matters. It's just a game for them.
It really is. They don't care.
If you wanted to get rid of Trump and Republicans, there are so many opportunities to use your massive platform and drag them and all of their policies and all of their disgusting tech bro billionaire supporters across the coals.
Yeah. And look,
if
I'm a Democrat that cares, I'm using the microphone everywhere I can, and I'm pleading with MAGA folks. I'm like, MAGA folks don't support this. Your own people don't support this.
Yeah.
What is your justification for this cruelty? I'm embarrassing him on a daily basis for the cruelty he's doing.
Yep.
You don't have to even bring this one shooting into it. You just pull it. Don't give people the optics of like letting them pick a side on one issue. Just show over and over again that his own people don't support this. What happened to the people? What happened to the people? What happened to the people? And I'm disgusted by Rubio. I'm not disappointed in him. It's fascist.
Right. And do you think that Jeffrey should be primaried? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely get him out of there. He's not a leader for a party of opposition. And yeah, that would actually be, I'd love to see this with Justin saying that impeaching Jeffries and Schumer. Do that. You could get some Democrats to cross the aisle if some Republicans did it. Like, start a fucking ruckus. Bring the ruckus. Fix the system. If that you pretended that that's why you wanted to, do it from the inside. But they won't. They will not use their power ever.
Right. And, Trump doing all this stuff without any support of the public. And it doesn't even, it's not like he's just taking a risk that's a logical move that people will support eventually. Like he's going out on a limb and being bold. It's just shit that people fucking hate across the board.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it lays bare this notion that Democrats can't fucking do anything when they are in power. Because here he is acting unilaterally as a fucking dictator doing this shit.
Honestly, at this point, anybody who still thinks that Democrats are weak or feckless or cowards or whatever, it's such a joke. Like, yes, it does lay it bare, but God, it's just like, how many times? I don't know. It feels like the cult of blue MAGA, it just is impenetrable. There's no way to, it's just because there's no logic to it. It's just they want to feel good about who they are and who they vote for, and they want their one civic engagement to be their I voted sticker. And
yeah, and if you're in the party, you lie to people all the time. So if you don't release an actual platform, you're not lying for once. You're just like, we're not Trump. So that's, you sleep better at night knowing you didn't promise any false hopes. You're just,
and that might even be true on a very surface level, right? Like, you could actually even believe that lie. Like, we're not as bad as Trump, even though we serve him everything he wants on a platter. So okay, let's just go to, so Minnesota State, they were taken off the case. FBI came in. Minneapolis and Minnesota were removed from the investigation. They no longer have access to body cam footage or testimonies or anything, this
is very Israel investigating themselves at this point.
Terrifying. And so, there is Tim Walz just saying he doesn't think that this case is going to get a fair shake. But like, I don't know. It just all feels so muted and like hands up in the air. Like, why do you become a mayor or a governor or a president or a senator or anybody with like a smidge of power if you don't use it to its full extent? And I don't know what that would be right now, but like, it's not just saying like, and so that's it. We're done.
Yeah. Completely. And, if you want to talk about a state that sees what Trump is doing and how they're going after their state, they're targeting every aspect of their state. They know that his whole, Somalia shit is bullshit.
Right.
They know that this going after Tim Walz for the daycare fraud is 99% bullshit. They know it. So, and they don't like these people there. They want them gone. So Tim Walz has decided he's not going to run for governor again. Well, now's the time to fucking just go balls to the wall with everything, because you have as much support as anybody will ever have.
Yep. I mean, unfortunately, the guy who decides he's not going to run again because of this is not going to use that power, right? Like, it's like they got what they wanted. They make him look, he came in and was the one good thing about Kamala's run, and he actually has accomplished some things with one vote, with one vote majority in Minnesota. He actually accomplished some things. Comes in, has a way about him that felt very genuine, felt like he actually cared about working class people, even though he and I are not on the same page on many different policies, on Israel, on a bunch of stuff. But like, he actually did some very practical, material policies. They crush him. they kneecap him entirely, remove him so she can go traipsing around the country with Liz Cheney and her, Mark Cuban people. And now that, there is fraud. There was quite a bit of fraud, that it was being actually investigated. People had been fined. The person who apparently was the number one fraudster with this daycare scheme was some white lady, right? But she was being prosecuted. So the fact that he just sort of backs down, not going to run again, now he's backing down again, get out in front of the cameras every day and talk about who the victim was, talk about who the perpetrator was, talk about there have been so many different analyses of what her car was actually doing. The Washington Post, Bellingcat, New York Times, people on the internet were on it immediately and were able to show the placement of the ICE agent's feet and that she was not trying to run him over. They exposed that he was a guy who had been, this was from Kristi Noem, exposes that this ICE agent had been dragged by a car several months ago. So clearly he had to be in his bonnet about protesters and cars. Just talk exactly what you're saying. You're going out anyway.
Yeah, let's talk about the training this guy had. What was his training to be in this position? What's his authority to be in this position? Why did he have a gun drawn in the first place on a car?
Yeah. Why? Especially because, so let's just get into some of the reporting. They are specifically trained not to get in front of a car and certainly not to shoot at a car. So this is from NBC News. ICE officers are trained to never approach a vehicle from the front and instead to approach in a tactical L 90-degree angle to prevent injury or crossfire, a senior Department of Homeland Security official told NBC News. Officers are also instructed not to shoot at a moving vehicle and only to use force if there is an immediate risk of serious injury or death, the official said. ICE officers are also instructed that firing at a vehicle will not make it stop moving in the direction of the officer. Imagine the brain rot you have to think that shooting point blank at a car that's coming at you. Well, actually he didn't, because he moved aside and shot right into the, to the side window. But obviously that's going to create more havoc and possibility of risk and death.
Of course. The runaway car with an injured driver, especially dead driver, likely at that range, but just shooting through a car, you're not aware of what's on the other side of that car. More than likely he could have killed another ICE agent.
Yeah,
which I wouldn't cry about that one, but that's where we're at. But this is all, you can't just deputize the whole country who hates brown people, and that's what we've done, and they reward it. They're not it. If you're ICE and you see this and you think, well, oh my God, that guy just shot her point. That's crazy. How's he getting away with that? And the president comes out and everybody's like, what a hero this guy is.
No, hero with total impunity. JD Vance said as many times as possible today at his press briefing that they have total impunity, absolute impunity.
He did. And
the precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law.
Trying to press pause, but then it's going so fast. My computer says
no, don't worry. Just play it.
Really?
The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job. The idea that Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous. The unprecedented thing is the idea that a local official can actually prosecute a federal official with absolute immunity. I've never seen anything like that. It would get tossed out by a judge. So what I'd like Minnesota to focus on is the real issue, that they're encouraging people. Minneapolis officials are encouraging people to commit violence against ICE officials.
No, they're not. They're not. And look, the reason we have to fight this now and should have been fighting it the whole time, and we have, but why we need everybody to get on board with getting ICE gone is, look, they had a budget of $19 billion a year, right? And then they were just gifted by Congress, bipartisan, $170 billion. So they have barely scratched the surface on the funding of what a fucking private police force Trump has now to exert his racism on people. So like, we're just at the tip of the iceberg with what they could do with this evil fucking Gestapo.
And again, just, a friend to show, Stephen Semler, with his fantastic graphs, but bipartisan funding that just continues to skyrocket, and the cages that they're building. And when they say that they want to deport, Happy New Year's, we're going to make America great again by deporting 100 million people. They're not only talking about people who are here illegally, not that I want those people deported either, but like 100 million people. Is that every black and brown person? Is that anybody who's not Christian? Is that
100 million people in a country of 350 million or something around that neighborhood?
330 or something.
That's like, when I liked the, I don't know if we had the clip, but they wouldn't let the physician in to treat her who wanted to do
that
triage
yesterday.
immediately. Yeah. He wanted to do triage immediately, but he said, and it should be a hashtag, but it was like, not my neighbor or killed my neighbor or something. It's like, that's how we all have to look at this. Like, all these people are neighbors. The people in Minnesota are neighbors because they're just regular folks.
Yep.
And to say we want policy that kicks 1 out of 3 people out of America. Are you fucking kidding me?
But that attitude of us versus them. And I mean, so when I think, I keep trying to thread my own needle or figure out where all of this comes from. But the dehumanization of whole groups of people, it starts maybe small with somebody that a lot of people can get on board with for whatever disgusting reason that they might. A lot of it's because people are kept in, devastating economic circumstances. So, okay, it's the immigrants, it's the poor person who's committing fraud against SNAP or whatever, right? It's never the billionaire who's, stealing your wages. But it just keeps growing. It doesn't stop there because it's not really about getting rid of fraud. Otherwise, Trump wouldn't be pardoning all these fraudsters. It's not about drugs. Trump wouldn't have pardoned the ex-president of Honduras. It's not even about oil. Oil companies don't even really want to go into Venezuela right now. That would be a long-term project, right? So it's really just about despising and wanting to subjugate whole swaths of people so that you get to continue being on top.
And then you also justify your inaction to do anything about the economy. You're keeping the system afloat by doing nothing, and you need some distraction, and that's it. I mean, we're in Minnesota where the Somali fraud, brown people with some cyber fraud. Well, they're eating the cats and the dogs. Tim Walz in the election, Antifa protesters going after ICE. It's all they got.
It's all they have. It's such chaos and it's so filled with hate. And the fact that it keeps coming back to the Zionist project is upsetting for so many different reasons, but it feels like that is the test bubble because they can hide behind, and they have for such a long time, anti-Semitism. It's anti-Semitism if you don't want Jews to be able to go to Somaliland. It's anti-Semitism if you don't want us to have a base in Somaliland so that we can disrupt Ansar Allah when they are, hijacking ships that are delivering arms to Israel. So it's not because Christian nationalists are pro-Jewish on any level. You hear all of their next step is just noticing who owns the banks, just noticing who owns media. And right now it is also sort of true who owns the media. It's, Zionists own the media. But all of this feels like they have crafted a narrative to get away with everything, whether it is, like this woman that they killed is not a Black or brown illegal immigrant. She is a young white woman, American citizen. And they did that because it really doesn't have to do with the Black and brown community in reality. It's just about maintaining their dominance. So it wasn't going to, I thought it was going to take longer before they just shot white women on the street like this. But
But the longer project is we're going to be in the streets, not over ICE. We're going to be in the streets over the dire economy. Even us whites are in, and so it's like, yes, it's all a test bubble, and they're going to push it as far as they can. And we need an ally in government, in theory, to fight against some of this. And we don't have that because they may be against the racism part of it and the otherizing on some level, right?
In theory,
but they want to be able to police people upset about the economy because their personal economies are going to be great. They are dedicated servants of the donor class.
That's right.
And if they actually had to do something to fix the economy, it would be working against their donor class, and they're not in it for that. So they need they want all this authority with ICE to expand, to protect, to go after us when we're in the streets, mad about healthcare.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all interwoven. That cop cities, the detention centers that will be used first for people who are so poor they become homeless, and we criminalize the homeless and we force them to work off their time in prison they're not allowed to see their children. They have to do free labor to get a phone card, which is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, these phone cards now, because they're prohibiting visitation rights. So it has nothing to do with safety because we know study after study shows that people who are incarcerated do much better if they have a connection to their loved ones on the outside. And certainly those children who are losing their families to cages do better growing up if they have, first of all, if there aren't cages and their parents aren't in cages, but also if they have a relationship. I mean, all of these things, none of it makes anybody safer. It just makes them money.
No,
that's it.
Everywhere they're sending ICE into, like literally everywhere has gotten so far, the crime statistics have been down.
Yep.
So like there isn't even like, oh, we found this outlier city where it's the new Detroit, so we got to do something to clean it up. It's not that. The numbers are down almost everywhere.
And if you want numbers to go up, you create social welfare programs to lift people out of poverty. The only criminals who are sort of like born criminals are the pathologically rich, where they cannot stop stealing from everybody, whether it's our air, our water, our labor, our resources, whatever. But like most petty crime is because people just need to be able to finance their lives. But meanwhile, just to what you just spoke about, 75,000 people who have been arrested by ICE with no criminal records. So like I've never been put in handcuffs and shoved into jail or in the back of a squad car. That is, but that itself is violent, right?
Yeah. And look, this, when it affects them, like, some farmers Trump knows can't get farm workers. Some of those 75,000 are magically good people. That's it. It's just, it doesn't affect them. And once it does, and once their donors get affected a little bit, their donors want carve outs for some of these terrible people.
How are they going to get their cheap labor?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
which is why we never fix the immigration system here. And yeah, I mean, M. Sparks, honestly, it feels like, with AIDS, where Reagan was fine just calling it gay cancer and ignoring the situation as people were getting sick and dying until his dear friend Rock Hudson got AIDS. And then all of a sudden it made him wake up. And I feel like I thought more of that would happen with COVID, when some like Tim Kaine has long COVID, other people, but somehow the mechanism that affects people's brains, their frontal lobes with COVID, made them less empathetic and more welcoming of danger and risk. I don't know. It's really just, we're in some crazy.
We are economically, we're really at the tip of the iceberg about the economic pain that's going to come within this administration.
Yeah.
I mean, just this week, for example, look, anywhere you go around Sacramento under freeway overpasses, there are 10 cams. That's just standard. There's some a few blocks from here. Every day somebody goes through our dumpsters, dumpster diving for food. Sometimes they even camp out there.
Yeah.
It rained all week, and after one of the rains, I went out to my truck and there's a pillow in the back of my truck. So somebody slept in the back of my truck in the fucking rain. That's
Yeah. We had rains last week, and there were several people who died because they were swept away by the rains. Yeah, there was a lot of rain, and the LA River got high. But what that means is those are people who were in encampments on the side of the LA River, which is, normally dry or just a trickle. And the rain came so fast, it swept them away. But like the rains it was not Wizard of Oz levels. It's because they were in such, despicable conditions because of what our society has done to them, that they're living on the side of a street and they got swept away. Citizen Pendejo, thank you so much. And I have to make a confession. We don't have Tony's new video, but we will look for it. Tony Aguilar, great friend of the show, who's coming to LA next month. And we are figuring out a in-person meetup, but we'll take a look for it so we can play it.
Hey, bring your microphone. Interview that guy.
That's right. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah,
and
we'll do a live
Citizen Pendejo, I watched that video you posted of Anthony. I didn't have time because I just got off work right before the show.
Wait, is this the one where he talks about ICE training with the IDF?
Yeah, that's the one I saw.
Okay, I saw that also. Yes, which is
thank you,
fantastic and true, and it does show. I mean, we know that our police forces train with the IDF. We know that cop cities are modeled off of Little Gaza, which is, Jerry Seinfeld famously went to go visit that. It's like play acting where you get to go and pretend that you're killing some Palestinians. It's lovely.
Little Gaza. Great.
Little Gaza. Brett Boyle, thank you. North America, most heavily propagandized in the world. Yeah, on earth. Honestly, I think you're right. Like I think people are slowly waking up, but I think you're right. And boy, that deep dive into Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who was absolutely a Mossad agent, also being the CEO of the publishing company of McGraw-Hill that does all of our school K through 12 textbooks. I mean, how do you not get propagandized by that? That's a scary time.
I'm glad I don't have kids, so they don't have to one day take their test on Charlie Kirk Day in high school or some shit.
I mean, that's interesting, Laura. I work in grocery. You can see the empathy decline. Customers are worse, and Karens are the norm now. That's really interesting. It's so hard to know if it's remnants of COVID, which I think a lot of people think like the skyrocketing car accidents are because of COVID brains. We've all been affected in different ways. But it's hard also like to peel apart, like to do the crosstabs. Is it because you're angry because you've been laid off, because you're being replaced, because you can't afford rent? Or is it because our brains have been affected? Is it a combination? I think somebody who I think a lot of us follow, and now my brain has just left the building once again. Imani, she's a disability rights advocate.
Imani, something with the B.
Yeah. But she keeps posting this. The Fed study ties 1918 flu pandemic to Nazi party gains. I mean, I don't know. We are in really strange times, and I know we've been horrible for pretty much our whole existence. But I do think like the aspirational quality of what America thought it was or wanted to be or wanted to project itself, as much as there was a distance between that and reality, at least I think that was like it was unifying, but also like to aspire to something greater. And now there's no aspiration. We do genocide, we kidnap heads of state, we kill our own people. There's no aspiration.
There's no aspiration, and it's just so clear how the decline in wealth equality has become, and to see neither party really fighting on it. The Democrats are debating should they run on doing something good for the economy, and I think the difference is, you always had people that understood the government is bullshit and they're doing both sides stuff,
Right.
but it wasn't to the state it is now, where like 75% of people in this country know our government is just not working for us now.
Yeah.
So the difference is now we all are like, well, some of us just accept it because we're doing well enough in life, so who cares?
Yeah.
Or you're worried about losing your
yeah.
job, so that's going to cause you to be a little quiet,
Well, again, I know we said this as we were, and I just had to put that up.
And learn helplessness really is the thing. So.
But also fear. Like, of course, people are scared. How could you not be scared when you see the impunity that ICE agents just walk around, jump out of the car, these slobs, and point their guns at people? I mean, like, it is terrifying to have a gun pointed in your face with these people who have no reason to fear any retribution, because the leader of the most powerful person in the world says that you have complete impunity. And for people still to get right back out on the street is inspiring. Like, that is really,
it is, because look, I had cops all pull their guns on me, but I knew I was a white sort of safe guy in my position, what happened and whatnot.
right.
But imagine you're in a tinderbox place like this ICE protest, and they do it, and then you've seen that video before on them abusing their power and killing a person, and the president's on TV saying this is great. So,
and has said, like, this was from today from Zateo Prem Tucker. Since last year, sources say Trump team made plans in case ICE agents were accused of crimes, protect them no matter what. Trump laid ways to retaliate, refused to hand over the agent, charged local officials with obstructing, threatened to cut more funding. And listen, I mean, the top one is knowing that these yahoos love killing people. Every time you talk about, like, what is it? 40% of cops have been charged with abusing with spousal or partner abuse.
Domestic abuse.
Yeah.
They're crazy with cops.
Like, these are not people you can reason with. They are brutes. So that is terrifying. And then, the thing that I don't even know why this happened. It has not been, as far as I've seen, dug deep into. At the same time, they were killing this woman, Good, whose first name now I'm not remembering, but as they're killing her, they're also storming a high school. For why? Like a couple miles away in Minneapolis. This is at a high school right near where they killed the woman they killed in her car. For what? Like, think about what happened in Uvalde when there was an active shooter killing first graders or kindergartners and their teachers. And it was like moms and dads who had to rush in and grab their kids to try to save them. And the cops all stood out there scared out of their lives, or out of their minds. So there's no way that those people thought there was an actual active threat in that high school, which is exactly why they could use their brute force and storm it and spray pepper spray in people's faces. And
you're talking about a force of out of shape men who've had white grievance their whole life, who are getting paid astronomically to be brutal to brown people.
Mm-hmm.
This is their wet dream.
Yeah.
This
It's
ability
their
that they
joy.
have here.
Yep. Hope, I don't know if your friend is the one who's been getting some profiles I've seen. I think you said I think you're in Tennessee, but I'm not sure, so I'm sorry. But that people are brutalizing, these ICE agents and National Guard are coming in and terrorizing this guy who says he won't serve ICE agents. But meanwhile, they'll fight to the death for a baker's right not to make cake for a gay couple, right? Just
Fuck ICE.
disgraceful.
I want them all scared shitless.
And abolish. Like, if you right now, as the leader of the Democratic Party, cannot say full-throatedly abolish ICE, you are worthless. If you can't say this is a genocide, worthless. If you can't say we all need Medicare for all, worthless. Primary, all of them. Nothing could be worse than what's happening. I mean, that's not true. It's only going to get worse. But like getting rid of a couple of Democrats in safe seats because you're scared that maybe a real leftist could get in, this is going to just keep spiraling.
Yeah. And look, getting a real leftist in, even if it loses the Democrats' power, is valuable because you're going to have somebody using a microphone, unlike all these cowardly Democrats that are just co-signing it.
Yep.
Everything that happens. Their silence speaks wonders, you know? Like,
yeah. And then, you know, just like a couple of things. So first of all, you know, Trump says, oh, I mean, they're just liars. They just lie right to everybody's faces. He's so concerned. We need to pray for Jonathan Ross, who's the agent who was outed by Kristi Noem because she said it was an agent who had been dragged by a protester's vehicle before. And Trump wishes him well and lucky he survived. Hope he gets well in the hospital. Here he is.
You! Shame! 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 Shame!
Just call 911
Shame!
as he walks away from shooting
Shame!
the woman in the car. But also just a reminder what this same group of people feel when the roles are reversed and when it's cops or ICE or National Guard in their cars being, you know, having anybody on the outside of the car.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
Huh. But she doesn't have a right to defend herself from these thugs who are surrounding her car, yelling at her to move aside, to drive away, to get out of her car. And then they just shoot her right.
Well, and the last thing before she's shot, she waves the truck that goes around her by. So this is not the action of somebody who's going to try to plow through it into cops.
The New York Times did a breakdown. We pulled the last 2 minutes because the Trump administration and the MAGA crowd have been showing a different angle, which from the angle they're showing, and they kind of, I think they speed it up and raise some of the audio on it to make it feel more threatening. But the New York Times did a breakdown on the difference in the angles and what the true angles on the ground reveal.
This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle. One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun. He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from the agent. This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer. President Trump and others said the federal agent was hit by the SUV, often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle. And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV. The SUV crashes into a white car parked down the road. A bystander runs toward the collision. The federal agents on scene do not appear to rush to provide emergency medical care. Eventually, the agent who shot the motorist approaches the vehicle. Seconds later, he turns back around and tells his colleagues to call 911.
Shame! You shot someone! You shot someone!
Agents block several bystanders who attempt to provide medical care, including one who identifies himself as a physician.
I go check a pulse.
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician.
I don't care.
At the same time, several agents, including the agent who opened fire, get in their vehicles and drive off, apparently altering the active crime scene.
Also crazy because part of the thing that Kristi Noem said last night was, oh, they were stuck in the snow. What's like, I mean, yeah, I see snow, but those streets were plowed. So that was also a lie that they were like stuck in the snow. I'm a physician. I don't care. And then Nicole Good, there are memorials set up for her around Minneapolis. Look at how this ICE agent who really cares about the sanctity of human life responds.
Really, you fucking punk? That's what you're gonna fucking do?
What?
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 What? Do you know what
Back
the fuck
up.
is that is for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
You're gonna push me? What is that for?
Back up.
What was that
I don't
for?
give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck about
Back
her?
up.
Bro, this is why we're here.
Back up.
This is why we're here.
I don't know what you do with people who are at that level of barbarity. Like, is there a rehabilitation, a denazification for them? Deradicalization?
I don't fucking care. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly.
Like, I don't want them part of our society until they're fixed.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they can be fixed.
Luigi. Honestly.
I mean,
and
yeah.
I just don't know how you don't get more violence towards ICE now. So, you know. And then that'll be their justification to do more violence back. But I mean, I think we can't listen to Democrats and wait till the midterms to vote this out. And you know, how we have to have some conflict. It's like, well, the civil rights movement. Well, okay, they should have waited a few more years and gotten some more Republicans, because Democrats were the racists back then. But you know, you can't. The time to stop bad shit is now. It's immediately. It's not later.
Just vote really hard. Vote a little harder. Honestly, this is soothing for me to see the anger from all of you people, because it's just so depressing and horrifying. What's the one simple trick that Nazis hate? I'm afraid to ask on air. I'm just gonna.
I think we should have a musical interlude.
Okay, I agree.
No,
Before we do,
we're already
just,
an hour. I know we're not a long show today,
Yeah. So. Okay, but a really quick second super chat. Thank you to Brett Boyle. Yes, North America, tip of the spear for New World Order. We gotta turn this ship around for sure. All right, let's. Thank you, Brett, for your super chat. Thank you. Cheers. Okay.
Who do you want? You want the Irish folks? I think. I like the Irish.
I do too. Let's do that.
Folks.
Every day them get up and look on TV, them read the newspaper, them want to see the truth. But them can't see the truth. because the truth will not be found there. That is why the man said this revolution will be telepathic.
Through the little streets of Belfast in the dark of early morn, British soldiers came marauding, wrecking little homes in scorn. Heedless of the crying children, dragging fathers from their beds, beating sons while helpless mothers watched the blood pour from their head. Armored cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man will stand behind the men behind the wires. Not for them the judge and jury, nor indeed a crime at all. Be when Irish means we're guilty, so we're guilty one and all. Round the world in three it'll take us, Cromwelin's men are here again. England's name again, a solver in the eyes of honest men. Armored cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man will stand behind the men behind the wire.
Yeah. We need a culture of people, and I'm so happy. I think we brought the music back because we are seeing a resurgence of revolutionary music and people pissed, and we're craving some power. So, you know, you've got a few things. You got violence you can choose, you've got solidarity you can choose both. But we need a country where kids know how fucked it is, and they're pissed because their future is the most at stake here.
Absolutely. And where they know that they have to fight, and that voting and peaceful protests are never going to get us out of this, ever.
Amen.
Yeah, it's really inspirational. It's galvanizing, right? It is, because if those little kids know how to fight. God, there was a great movie actually from last year, and I'm not going to, I'll look it up when we have our next little intermezzo. But it was on, you know, the hunger strikes, and geez. All right, I'll look it up. It was really well done. It was last year, and I will look it up, but it was fantastic. And, you know, nobody ever votes their way to getting the rights that are being denied them by the people who are in power, because they would not allow us to vote them out of that power, right? We know that. So it's not going to come easily, but solidarity is the only way forward, for sure.
Absolutely. And on the economic front, you know, they're pushing AI, which is, it's just, if you think the economic suffering is bad, wait till AI really is something that does its job and replaces us.
Yeah. You know, this was a video from the Times of London. So first of all, AI is massively unpopular, just like these deportations and ICE raids. You know, none of this is popular. None of it's done. Well, I mean, Trump was elected on deporting immigrants, which is
but if the immigrants took your job, why are we funding AI to take your job? Like that's the rub with.
We're going to spread that money. It's going to make everybody wealthier. It's going to make everybody wealthier. But this is from the Times of London about the death of literacy. And this is something I feel like, you know, we all have different ways of contributing to the revolution. And I always joke that, like, it's not that I don't have violent fantasies in me. I just don't think I'd be a worthwhile warrior in that capacity. So I'm always like, I'll cook and clean. You know, I wear a mask when I share air with people in public, indoors. And that's a very small moment, but it feels like a piece of power and a piece of rejection of the capitalist Epstein class, right? And solidarity with workers who are almost the only people I ever see wearing masks anymore are working class people, because they can't get sick, because they can't afford to get sick, because they don't have healthcare and they don't have any padding in their bank accounts. But the other thing is reading books, and not just scrolling on the internet, even though I do think social media is really powerful. And I think, listen, I don't think that we would know the truth about what's happening in Palestine, in the West Bank, in Gaza, if it weren't for social media. So I do think it's a powerful tool. I think it's amazing, but I think it's tragic that we are creating generations of people who don't read primary sources, who don't read books. So this, I thought, was a really interesting examination of AI and the death of literacy. Or we thought, sorry, I didn't mean to say I'm just I.
Are we living in a post-literate society? Here is why our minds, our culture, and our politics is being dumbed down. For centuries after the invention of the printing press in the 15th century, reading was just for the social elite. But by the beginning of the 1700s, the expansion of education and the increase of cheap books meant that suddenly everyone could read. Everywhere. Men, women, children, the rich, and the poor. Historians have linked this explosion of literacy to the Enlightenment, human rights, the birth of democracy, even the Industrial Revolution. But now, books are in retreat. Phones are engineered to hijack our attention with endless notifications, pointless short-form videos, and social media rage bait. A new report, funded by Arts Council England, found that British adults are more likely to read social media posts than any other kind of content. Our universities are on the front line of this crisis, teaching the first truly post-literate generation, raised on clips, games, algorithms, and now AI. One Oxbridge lecturer I spoke to described a collapse in literacy among his students. A study of English literature students at American universities found that they were unable to understand the first paragraph of Charles Dickens's novel Bleak House, a book that was once regularly read by children for fun. Yet the benefits of reading are stark. Regular readers report sleeping well, feeling happier, and feeling less lonely. All the greatest minds of our society, from Albert Einstein to Paul McCartney, read voraciously. Somewhat ironically, even Elon Musk, the owner of the social media platform X, said that he was raised by books. When students can't read deeply, they can't access the deep knowledge and critical thinking skills imparted by books. Most of all, our increasingly trivial and mindless culture is a calamity for our politics. Short video always rewards emotion over evidence. As tech erodes literacy and middle-class jobs, we are entering a political era beyond our imagining. So how do we fight back? The Sunday Times is asking people to read for pleasure for just 10 minutes a day for 6 weeks. You can also donate to book banks to get books to those who need them, and volunteer with Quorum Beanstalk to read to school children. If we choose deep reading, we may avoid the calamity of a post-literate society.
I do feel like there's a concerted effort to make people illiterate and unaware. You know, obviously there is. Chris Hedges talks about it all the time, that his students don't read unless, but he does talk about his students in the carceral system and that they are the most voracious and interesting thinkers. Is kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, they're not scrolling social media because they're not supposed to have phones in prison.
Yeah. But that's what AI. Yeah.
Well, I do think on some level, the hard part is I'm thinking there will be a backlash. I mean, we will go back to appreciating handmade goods and handmade things, but endorphins with social media are very addictive.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different. Like the backlash, you have to consciously say, I'm not going to be on Twitter today, or I'm not going to.
Yeah, I know.
It's really hard. Like me sitting down and watching a movie for a 2-hour movie. I mean, I'm on my phone half the damn time, you know? So it's like, I am losing the plot. And they were saying, we talked about at one point that new scripts are being written so that people don't have to pay attention as much to the plot.
Yeah.
Because the attention span of the viewer has dropped a lot. So they're not going to like a movie if it's got a plot that if they're on their phone for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm actually shocked, you know, Shogun, Tokyo Nights were two series that I really enjoyed last year, but they took full attention. You could not tune out for a second. There were lots of subtitles. It went back and forth. There was a complicated story in there. And, that is also important. Like, which shows do you watch without your phone? Oh my goodness. I'm seeing Adria and Laura have to leave because I have to get up so early. Yes, it is getting late. Late for those who get up at 4 a.m. Adria, oh my goodness. But libraries also, like, can you imagine anybody suggesting a library now, a place where you can walk in for free, have access to books for free. Nobody would even suggest that now. Nothing is suggested that doesn't have some financial incentive ever, right?
No, I mean, it's like the last sort of socialist thing we have.
Yeah.
The library, which is why it's actually wonderful. It's like people come in,
Fantastic. Yeah.
you know, a lot of libraries feed people as well. And
Yep.
there's lots of, you know, it's
Community
a source
services.
of
Yep.
social services.
Yep. They were giving
for a lot of
masks
people.
and free tests for a long time at the beginning of COVID. Yeah. And also you can even get like, you know, because if I'm walking my dog, if I'm walking Lucky or whatever, and I want to listen to a book on tape, you can get free books on tape from the library, which is really excellent. You know, but all of that, I feel like we have to remind ourselves that there are lots of different ways to fight. And some of them are smaller seeming than others, but they can still have, you know, I think about these disgusting tech bro billionaires who are, you know, have the God complex. They love discussing ideas. Like it's masturbatory, right? They love hearing their own processes of thought. And when you hear them speak out loud, it's so puerile and embarrassing, like sophomoric. But that's on some, like, that's what the university system initially was for, right? For people to read and discuss ideas and debate and sophistry, right? Like to figure out, to question. And they want to deny that to all the rest of us while they get to continue enjoying it.
Absolutely. And, you know, as much as, you know, I'm trying to stay a little more positive this year, if that's possible.
Oh, yeah, same. Me too.
In
Can
the
you
face
tell?
of depression.
Yes.
But look, even if we have learned helplessness on a national level, we can help our neighbors locally.
Yeah.
We can find a way to offer food to more people who live near you.
Yep.
You know, we can start a put on the corner the book trees. I don't know what you call them. Where there's free books.
Yeah, we have a bunch of those in our
little
neighborhood.
libraries.
Yeah.
But I see those more with food these days, you know, which is very telling, but also it's depressing, but it's also uplifting that, hey, if you're around here, there are enough community neighbors that care that they're putting canned goods and female products and masks and things go into these, you know, so you can do that locally, even if we can't change the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Or the whole system, which has to be changed. It has to be smashed to the ground, but we also need subsistence and survival, you know, until we get to that place. And yes, those sorts, you know, I think like sometimes when we've talked about parallel economies or parallel society, it is bigger, but it sounds sort of like more of a task than how we initially start, which is, as you're saying, like knowing your neighbors, reaching out to your neighbors, getting to, you know, donating mutual aid, knowing who your lifelines are when they shut down our internet.
Yeah, they're going to storm in and arrest us any day now. But there's that.
I hope we live stream it.
Oops.
All right. Yes. Is there anything, I mean, there's so much to talk about, but is there anything right now that you want to make sure that we get to?
No, I mean, I don't want to keep people too long on our hour-long show. That's
all right.
Hour 15.
Let's just one more despicable moment from the administration. I think this happened yesterday. Caroline Leavitt had a press conference. There was a betting market, betting that she would go beyond. White House Press Secretary Leavitt abruptly ended the White House press briefing seconds before reaching 65 minutes. On the Kalshi platform, and remember, Kalshi is now, they just hooked up with CNN, right? Because they're going to determine the news. Bet on the news. How's it going to all end? There was a market betting on whether the briefing would last more than 65 minutes. Minutes before the end, the odds gave a 98% chance for yes, that it would last more than 65 minutes, making the bet on no very cheap. When she stopped exactly before the mark, those who bet on no profited about 50 times their initial investment in seconds. Suspicions of insider trading arose because Levitt looked up, possibly at a clock or signal, before cutting off. On social media, many believe that someone from the team or close to the White House bet on no in the final moments using insider information. This is the end of her time at the dais. Here we go.
In November of last year. And so I would encourage everyone to take a look at the website. It's quite well done. And thank you all very much. It's great to be back with you.
Thank you.
So if they're not making enough on the Trump Bitcoin, oh, you're muted.
Well, yeah, but no doubt about it. And there won't be any investigation into this because Kalshi would be the ones to investigate, right? Because they're profiting from this. You know, they don't want their platform abused, but they're going to kiss the administration's ass because they want access, and they're getting all the legislation they want. They've got basically legalized gambling on everything through Kalshi.
Yep. They're going to determine the news. I mean, that's what's going to happen, right? Odds are, I mean, it's sort of what happens anyway, but like, oh, you know, there's so many great breakdowns on sports betting and how games, especially basketball, have been reduced to the minutia, the different stats, and how that changes people's perspective actually of watching a game, but also it's the gamification, the monetization of every aspect of every parts of our life. But also when it, you know, it's one thing if that's done post the reality, but when you go into a moment knowing what the bet is, that changes reality. So when our higher ups in government or our media news sphere knows what the bet is, when Kalshi is, you know, uniting with or collaborating with CNN, how is that going to affect the news that we see that's already so heavily determined by the donor class, the Epstein class?
Yeah, and it's just an extraction of wealth too, because
yeah. Oh my God.
The people that know have the easiest path on earth to make money.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, wait. Is this the positive? You told me we were gonna be
We're all out of cat
joy.
videos.
It's our joy. I know. But okay, I do think coming back to this, yes, get involved locally. And this is the right wing, the far right has been doing this, and they've gained immense power by getting involved in school board meetings and hospitals and all that. But this is a way I think that feels doable, as opposed to like, oh, we just need a new president. That's not going to change anything, or a new senator, or 2 more Democrats, or whatever. But like in local politics, I think that is a real way.
Even if you're not looking at it from a sort of Fred Hampton, we reach them through helping them, just helping people. These people need help. So that's like you're making the world better. So if you got to tune out politics for a while and feed the poor in your neighborhood or something, you're going to feel fucking great about it versus feeling like you're not getting anything done because all you are is complaining on Twitter and we have no power.
That's true.
You'd have the power to go feed some if you have a couple bucks or something.
Or read to kids or whatever, tutor. Like there's a lot of different ways to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can't do it yourself, you know, you can amplify the people that do, or there's something, you can always do something. So
one more just little piece of good news, because it happened today, is Mamdani and Kathy Hochul have partnered together, and it does look as though they are moving forward together, that she is helping because, and again, this wouldn't be happening, I think, if she weren't being primaried from the left by Delgado, but she is helping to create a system that will fund more pre-K seats across the state, going to 4-year-olds, then 3-year-olds, and also working for, you know, it's of course, you know, it's because it's neoliberal. It's starting with the high need areas. It can't be universal because we got to means test everything, but they are starting to implement and to figure out how to fund this universal child care policy that Mamdani ran on. And,
Amen.
you know, that's something good.
Something good.
Something good. All right. Stay safe out there. I have to go investigate what's happening in Portland now. I mean, I just like, where's the cavalry? Where's the more Luigis when you need them?
I'm telling you, though, this is the year things are going to spark off in a major way. And not that that's going to be good, but that's going to lead to something. Things are so bad that this is the year that shit goes down. So,
I think so too. So
be careful and safe out there.
Know your neighbors. And we love you guys. Thank you. We'll be back on Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific. Stay safe. Keep punching up. I got to go get another bottle of wine.
Cheers.
We want ICE out of Minneapolis. We want the ICE agent who killed Renee Good to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We want an end to deportations. We want legalization for all because we know that no human being is illegal. Sadly, it really feels like it was only a matter of time until it got to this point. ICE has been showing up in cities all over the United States, wreaking havoc, ripping people from their families, using violent tactics. We are ashamed that anything having to do with our government, having to do with our state, our country, has led to another death of a person who was just trying to help out her own community as they were facing terror. Just another moment that adds fuel to the fire of resistance. And so all people are coming out to protect their immigrant neighbors, and we are not going to let this scare us into submission. We're not going to let this keep us from continuing to organize. I mean, as you can see all around me, people are so fired up. People are ready to hit the streets. This is akin to 2020 following the George Floyd murder. People in Minneapolis won't stand for innocent people being killed by law enforcement. We want to hold our elected officials accountable because we're the ones who line their pockets, we're the ones who put them into office, and we are the ones that they need to answer to.